This is the last video I will be doing for you. I know, there's tears in your heart. But I wanted to go over the study guide with you. I want to make sure you know how to do every single one of these problems because this is how it will be on the test. Very similar. If you listen to this video and watch it fully and kind of go along with me as I do this study guide, you should do very well on the test. Now, one thing I first want you to know is this is a study guide. It will guide you. It's not going to give you the exact answer, but it's going to give you a similar question and a similar answer. For example, question number 1 says, choose the property that justifies the statement if segment GH is congruent to FD, then segment FD is congruent to GH. So we're looking through all these choices. You really should know each one of these. Am I doing something reflexive? Reflexive is saying GH is congruent to GH, or FD is congruent to FD. That's not what this is saying. Transitive, remember it's that train, so there needs to be at least 3 things going on. GH to FD, FD to something else. That's not happening here either. Congruent segments, remember that definition, it takes away the line and the squiggle. And then symmetric is what this is. This is flip-flopping. GH is to FD, FD is to GH, so this is B. This being a study guide, again, you really should know all of these. The one on the test, it won't necessarily be symmetric. Maybe it's transitive. Maybe it's this one. Maybe it's something totally different. This is a guide. All right, number 2. If the measure of angle BFC, so I'm going to write that in, BFC is 70, find E to F to D. That angle. Well, I know this angle right here has a box, so I know that's 90. And if I put all 3 of these together, I make a line 180. So the 70 plus the 90 plus, I don't know, we'll call it X, the X angle, should equal 180. So subtract, X is equal to 20. All right, number 3, if the measure of AFB is 5x minus 10, that's right here, and BFC is 3x plus 20, find x. Again, are they a linear pair? Are they making a line? Yes, AFB, BF, they're making a straight line when I put them back to back. So 5x minus 10 plus 3x plus 20 equals 180. Combine your like terms, a little bit of algebra. We get 8x plus 10 equals 180. 8x equals minus the tone over 170. And 170 divided by 8 is 21.25. And that is H. All right, number 4. Refer to the figure. Identify the plane parallel to plane PQT. All right, so let's find those 3 points, PQ and a T. So this is the plane I'm talking about. This plane right here. Can you find the one that's parallel? It's going the same direction. If this is the front of a box, let's say, wouldn't the back side be the parallel side? So an R, an S, a W, and a V. Let's see if I got RSV right there. C. Name a line skew to RQ. Skew to RQ. So let me highlight RQ for you. RQ is this. Remember with skewness, you don't want to be on this plane. You want to be totally a different direction, a totally a different way. So let's kind of look through and see what we got. VU, isn't that on this plane? So definitely don't want VU. SP, well, that's on this top plane, so don't want that one. R to S, no, it's connected here. It's on the plane, so don't want that one. UT, look at UT is totally on a different plane, not even near it, not going the same direction, so letter choice D. Okay, now we're moving on to those angles, those special angles. So let's see. Identify the special name for angle 3 and angle 10. Let's kind of circle them. So kind of looks like they're lying along this transversal and then these two lines. So it looks like they're on the inside, so they're interior angles, that's for sure. So are they definitely not alternate exterior? They're interiors. Are they consecutive interior or are they alternate interior? Are they alternating? No, they're not alternating. They're on the same side. They're consecutive. H. Given that P and Q are parallel, so these two are parallel, and angle 10 is 3x minus 7, and 13 is 4x minus 9, find x. All right, so given that P, there's a lot of coloring in this, in Q. 10 and 13, maybe you want me to turn it this way. See how here's my parallel, here's my transversal. 10 and 13 are also on the inside. They're not alternating. They're on the interior, on the same side. They're consecutive. So these two must add up to 180. They're not equal. They add up to 180 in this case. If they were alternating, sure, they'd be equal. So let's say 3x minus 7 plus 4x minus 9 equals 180. So that would be 7x minus 16 equals 180. 180 plus 16 is 196. And then divide that by 7, and you get x to be 28. All right. Given 1 and 5, which postulate says and justifies that P and Q are parallel? Let's see, 1 and 5. 1, I'm going to use a different highlighter here. 5. Let me turn it sideways again. 1, it's on the same side with 5, but don't they look like they're the same angle? They're making that F shape. 1 and 5, 2 and 6. That F shape is called corresponding. So let's see if we see a corresponding right there. Corresponding. All right, and then number 9, if the measure of angle 4 is 7x minus 20, so that's this one right here. Let me redraw it again. And then 8, this one right here. Well, look at that, 4 and 8. They're the opposite of 1 and 5 on the other side. So they're also making that F shape. So do they add up to 180 or are they equal? Well, look at them. Just look at them. They're the same angle. This is a big. This is a big. They're equal to each other. Use your eyes to look to see, do they look like they're equal to each other or do they look like they would add to 180? So set them equal. Subtract 5x over, you get 2x, and add 20, 38. X is 19. So there's your front page. Next one. Angle A and B are vertical. Find A and B. What do we know about vertical angles? They are congruent. They're equal. So just set them equal to each other. So let's say, okay, minus 7x would be 2x. Minus 10 would be 14. X is 7. Don't put 7. Why? Find the measure of angle A. Oh, so you got to plug 7 back in. Be careful. 9 times 7 plus 10. 9 times 7 plus 10. 63 plus 10 is 73 degrees. All right, number 11, find the value of x so that A is parallel to B. So if I'm looking at this angle right here and this angle right here, I mean, just look at it. Does it look like those two angles are big angles that are equal to each other? Or does it look like they would add to 180? That's really your only choices. Well, this is the transversal. They are on the exterior and they are alternating. So they're equal to each other. And then minus 6x and add 44. So 54 divided by 3 is 18. So make sure, find the value of x. We're good. You didn't have to find the angle, 18. Okay, proofs. That's how it's going to be, okay? You're going to be given a proof, and here are your choices. You're welcome. You have choices. Now, you right now better get number 12, that first one right. Given. That is your given statement. AB is congruent to CD. BC is congruent to DE, okay? AB congruent to CD. BC congruent to DE. Now, we've known this. We know inside of this segment proof, we're going to have angle addition postulate. We know we're going to have some substitution. We're going to have, segment addition postulate. We're going to have some definition of congruent segments. Interesting. Let's see what happened from this statement to this statement. I went from lines and a squiggle, line, squiggle, to no line, no squiggle. What's that? That's definition of congruent segments. Now, there's two of them here, which means it's going to be used again. So you can either choose C or D for this one. C or D for that one. And then working our next way down. And again, if you get stuck, you just keep going. Let's see. AC equals AB plus BC. AC equals, let's look back at the picture. AC, this whole thing, equals this little piece and this little piece. And then CE is CD. What am I doing? Well, I'm taking this segment and adding it to this little segment to get the whole. This piece to get the whole. Segment addition postulate. E. Okay, let me actually check off this whole thing. I'm going to check off D here. So that means all I've got left is a substitution, and definition of congruence again. Remember, because this was either C or D, so we're going to use it again. So let's see what happened here. So CE is now equal to AB plus BC. Why are they allowed to say that? Why are they allowed to say that? CE, is equal to AB plus BC. Well, they were doing some substituting, guys. AB equal to CD, they put an AB here. DE is equal to BC. They just substituted that one and that one. So this is substitution. So again, you could have chosen A or B. So I'm just going to check one of them. All right, and then what they do here, AC equals CE. Why does AC equal CE? Well, look at that. These are the same thing right there. So what am I doing again? I'm substituting again. So again, AB there. Which leaves, does this look like a definition of congruent segments to you? Yes, I went from no line, no squiggle, line, squiggle. It's the same for both of them. So this is your C or your D choice, whichever one you want. So there's your first proof. You'll have something similar. And again, it'll come up for both regular and honors. You'll have choices right there. And then you have an angle proof. And the angle proof again will come up with choices down here. And again, look at your choices. Kind of give a glance. Oh, I'm going to add some angles. Oh, I've got a train, a transitive. This equals this, then this equals this, then this. You want to look for that given, obviously, our favorite one. Substitution, definition of congruent angles. That's where you go from an angle with a squiggle to an M or vice versa. And you got two of them. And angle addition postulate. Oh, you got two of those too. So we must be adding a multiple amount of angles. All right, number 18, please get this right. C, given. All right, let's see. I went from VZW congruent to XZY to VZW equals XZY. Oh, with the little M's, that's a definition of congruent angles. So I'm going to pick E. You could have also picked G. All right, now let's see what I'm doing. Now it looks like I'm saying the measure of WZY is equal to WZX and XZY. Well, yes, look at that. I'm making two angles to make the whole red one. That's an angle addition postulate. I'm adding angles, so I'm going to call that A, but again, you could have chosen F. All right, now what am I doing? I'm going measure of WZY is equal to WZX and VZW. What am I doing here? WZY. This one. Let me use my highlighters just so you can kind of see. This angle is equal to this and this one. Is that what's equal to each other? And VZW, they must have done some kind of substitution, don't you think? And they did it from up here. They substituted in because in order to make this angle addition postulate, you'd have to put these two, which we already did. So this was definitely a substitution. You can see from up here. They took XZY, and replaced it with VZW. So that's a substitution property, D. Okay, now the measure of angle WZX plus the measure of angle VZW is equal to XZV. Okay, so now, and I know I'm color coding a lot of these, but let me get my highlighter. Sorry for the time. Oh man, I have a bunch more highlighters. Well, here we go. So the measure of WZX plus VZW equals XZV. Are two angles making a whole? Yes. Then what do we call that? Angle addition postulate. So that's the other angle addition, which would be F. Again, or A, had you chosen the opposite for there. So what do we got left? Look at this. We got a transitive, which is kind of like substitution. It's making a train. And definition of congruent angles. So let's see. I've got the measure of angle WZY equals the measure of angle XZV. And then here I've got WZY congruent to XZV. When you go from M's to squiggles, remember that's your definition of congruence. So I already know that last one is going to be G. Or obviously E. So that means this must use the transitive, this one right here. And it makes sense because you went from if this equals this and this equals this, then these two are equal. See? If the measure of angle WZY equals this and this, and then this plus this make that, then these two are equal. So that's your tran. All right. We just did the whole study guide. You should do great now, okay? You can use this for your test. Help yourself out. Bye.